All right.
Welcome back.
Welcome back and welcome to
Beyond the Surface with
Robbie.
and Angelo.
Happy Sunday, everybody. I hope everybody's having a beautiful day. Um, Today we're going to film our third episode.
Good episode, and we have changed environments here.
Yes, we are currently at my house, in my room, for a little bit of a friendlier feel. And I think this will be the semi-permanent location, especially if we're going to make this look a little bit nicer. Obviously, clean out a few things and maybe do a little decorating or renovating. But for right now, I think this is a much nicer feel.
Yeah. And we got the couch, so we're a little more comfortable.
Yes,
Um,
it's a little bit more intimate.
yeah. So if you like that, or maybe we'll switch back and forth between the table and the couch.
Especially depending on what we're going to be talking about. Because it's Sunday, I think today is going to be like a chill, just chat it up sort of vibe. But hopefully everybody has a good time watching. So I think our first topic is going to be kind of what we did this week.
Mm.
Um, I'll let Angela go. I think we haven't really. This hasn't been an exciting week for me since my foot's still broken. But I still got a little bit done. But I'll let Angela go first.
All right. So yeah, I don't think it's been a very exciting week for me as well, but that this week was my first week for my powerlifting program. So we started off 4 days in the powerlifting program, and that was a lot of fun. I would say we started off with like squat and bench, and then into like deadlifts and stuff. And I found that my bench endurance sucks. Well, my bench in general just sucks, but I definitely need to work on my reps when it comes to bench press and just chest in general because I fatigue so quickly in bench. But yeah, we played around with the squats, went to low bar squats midweek, and that was fun.
What's a low bar squat?
So a low bar squat, so high bar is up on your traps, and a low bar is kind of on your rear delts. So you kind of, for a high bar squat, you feel it in your quads. For a low bar squat, you'll feel it more in your glutes and your hamstrings. And it kind of just, when you switch it up, it kind of just works your whole leg instead of sticking to just kind of your competition squat. You want to do a wide variety. Besides training, I went to Blue Mountain.
Very nice.
Just a little bit of skiing. That was a day. I got there at like 1-ish, 12:30, and I was planning on doing both snowboarding and skiing. So I usually start off snowboarding because it's awkward going from skiing straight to then turning sideways and snowboarding. So I start snowboarding, right? I go put on my boots, take out the bag, and it's the wrong board with the wrong binding. So I have clip-in bindings. So people that don't know, you cannot use clip-in bindings like regular binding. You need the clip-in bindings, and they were on my other board. And the one that was in my bag was my brother's board with my old bindings. So it was already a mess. So I had to take off my snowboard boots, put on my ski boots. Found out I was stuck in a ditch with my truck. So I was just like, you know what? I'll go skiing and I'll deal with the truck later, get a tow truck. But I was about 30 minutes to an hour in of skiing, and I looked at my phone and I realized I had 20% left. And I was like, it's 2 o'clock. I don't have any battery, and if this phone dies, how am I going to get my truck unstuck? So I went back to my truck, and I got it unstuck, called the CAA, and the guy almost destroyed the car
This guy was a
behind me.
menace.
He's just like, he pulled me out of it, and he's like, all right, now we're going to see if you can get out. Floor it. I'm like, all right, he's the professional here. Listen to this guy. I floor it. My wheels start spinning out. My truck's like swinging, and I look to my side, and like I was probably about 4 inches away from just smashing the guy's tail light beside me. He's like, stop, stop, stop. He's like, all right, we're gonna try something else. Straighten your wheels, and then start slowly. And then when I say floor it,
This guy is
floor
just
it
like all over the
again.
place.
And I do it, and I'm again like about 4 inches away from just smashing. I was just spinning. My back end is just like moving around. He's like, all right.
I don't understand. Why didn't he start with pulling you out?
That's the thing. The thing is, like,
What type of was it? Was it uh a wheel lift or was it the bed? Like his truck, wheel lifter. That's so weird. Why wouldn't he just use his? Because they have a winch.
So he used that. So he pulled me up
Yeah.
to like way away from the extreme.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like floor it. He's like, no, like let's try something else. He's like, no, let's try one more thing here. He's like,
But I don't
is your
get.
traction control on? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, turn that off.
Yeah, classic.
I'm like,
Did it work?
no.
Yeah.
For you guys that don't know, my truck is not four-wheel drive set. That's the problem. If it was, I would have been completely fine.
It's so weird that it isn't.
My dad didn't.
Get the upgrade. Oh my goodness. It's a 4x2.
It was so sad. I'm just like, why would you not get the 4x4? But you know what? It's an original. I don't see any other Sierra that is not a 4x4.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives me leg room. So like when I broke my toe, I
Mm-hmm.
could actually drive with my left foot.
What do you?
Because
Is it because there's like the transfer case or something? Like, why would there be extra?
so like you know how like at the
Oh,
bottom
the
there,
transmission.
you usually have that space to
Yeah.
put it in 4x4 and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not there, I get my foot up.
Mm,
I use my left foot to drive.
it's comfortable.
It's comfortable. I'm not too upset. But in the winter, it
Sucks because it's just like a really heavy car,
Literally.
just a massive car.
Yeah. Yeah, but other than that, we finally got the truck on time. He
Nice.
just decided to pull me out all the way, and I'm like, this would have been
Easier.
if you just
It sounds like an
first.
hour endeavor.
It was, yeah. And then I finally went to the back of the parking lot where they plowed it to park, and then I had to walk all the way about like 15 minutes with my ski boot. It was horrible. But I finally got onto the hill and had some fun. And then did a very big wipeout
Mm,
because the mountain was making snow. And it was also snowing. So it was a mix between real snow and fake snow. So there's a bunch of like big mounds of this fake snow everywhere. And the fake snow is just sticky, icy.
it's literally like when you hit it and you're snowboarding. As long as you're going like if you're still like carving, you'll go through it. But if you're on the like the flat part of your board, you just like you like lurch forward.
Yeah. And that's literally what happened with me with my skis. So I was going, and there's a tree line. So I was going, I took the left behind the tree line, down, and then boom, I was just flat on my skis. I hit it, my body went forward, my skis stopped, and I just tumbled. And it was
Terrible.
horrible. It didn't hurt that much though. I slammed my head into that stuff.
Oh,
But
and it's always so jarring when you're snowboarding or skiing when you hit your head, like because you're like, oh, I'm dead. You know, like it's like that, like sudden, like your brain telling you, like, oh, something bad's happening, but it's happening so fast that you can't like calculate it. So you're just like, I'm dead.
yeah. Other than that, it's been a good week. Did some filming for my YouTube channel. Follow, subscribe at the Albino Gorilla.
The albino gorilla. There you go. Eventually we'll be putting our links in the description, which I think will be probably he'll put his in like today, and I'll put mine in once I have a video, which is a long time in the making. A long time just means it's been a week of me trying to do this thing, but eventually we'll get there.
But how's your week been?
It's been okay. Sorry, I shouldn't put my feet up. I didn't do much. I just worked, went to school. Nothing like exciting happened. Like school's been kind of interesting. just because it's so new. Though I must say, it's very like boring right now. There's not a lot going on. I really just uh, like it's all kind of basic stuff. Like my classes are psychology, which isn't basic, but it's like intro to psychology, and then intro to criminal justice, intro to interrogations. I'm going to school for police foundations, if you can't tell by those class titles. Um, but then there is a health class, and it's kind of just like generic stuff, but it's good to know. So I am paying attention. Uh, yeah, there's a lecture for that, and then there's also a lab, which is just working out.
What's the left?
It's like how to maintain a healthy body, sort of, and how to like deal with stress, and how not to go bald as a cop, um, which is the inevitability. Uh, yeah, that's about it. I work at a gym. It's pretty all right. There's not really a lot going on there. I like do the memberships and like talk to people. Like work at the front desk. Not my most amazing week just because of my foot. So I'm like trying to clean and my foot's broken and stuff. But honestly, it's been a good week overall, like mood wise. Um, lots of talking to people at school, lots of meeting people. But I am trying to work on um, not talking as much, which is interesting to say on a podcast. Like I'm trying to, like while I'm at school, just try to work and then succeed. Same at work. Just do my work. I don't have to talk to people and just relax.
Okay, that's funny though, because your work is like
Talking to people. No, I don't mean like not talk to the customers. I mean sometimes while I'm at work, I like prioritize my relationships a little bit too much. Like I'm trying to like talk to everybody, which isn't always achievable. Sometimes you just gotta put your head down and get the work done. And then, oh, yesterday Angelo came over and we were going to film this episode, but then he came over for dinner. We ate dinner, and then we were like, we're too tired to film.
the pasta killed us.
Yeah, we had like two big bowls. But also I think the episode wouldn't have been as good because like when you're tired, you don't really have much to say. You're just like laughing about stuff. Well, I guess that would have been pretty
Yeah,
good.
it
But
wasn't that bad though.
yeah.
I also didn't have my headphones.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, and it is hard because when you're talking without the headphones, it feels so weird.
Yeah.
Even though it's like a normal conversation, because you have the mic, you're like expecting to hear their voice right here. Yeah, that's about my week. It's really uneventful. My foot started hurting finally, um, which is like good because that means I know something's happening in there. Um,
That, like, tight feeling.
yeah, it's like tight, and it's also it's like my whole foot now hurts instead of just like the one spot, which I think means like things are like connecting maybe or like reconnecting, which is exciting. It's kind of exciting to see what's going on in there.
When you lay in bed, so when I broke my toe,
Mm-hmm.
I would like lay in bed
Like
and
make it hurt.
no, I'd visualize like it like healing it.
Really,
Yeah.
what I do is I like put it in a position where I can feel the bone. Like I like go like this. Like I flex the top part of my foot.
Yeah.
My foot is down here, but I'll show it on here with my fingers. I go like that with all my digits, and then I can feel it hurting. And I'll be like, yeah, something's happening there, like making like just to make sure everything. Because if it stopped hurting, I would be concerned. You know what I mean? Like that, maybe my body like gave up. Screw his foot,
Yeah.
and then I just be like broken. I guess we'll talk about maybe a little bit of what's going on next week, or if you had a. I don't really have too much to talk about today, so
we just gotta. I think we just gotta start a random conversation. And
agreed.
something will flow.
Okay, agreed. And then we'll edit this out.
Yeah.
Yeah. we're leaving in.
I guess you'll find out
Yeah,
if you watch the video.
if you stay tuned.
Here's a random question.
Yes. Okay.
What is like your ideal wife?
Oh, that's good.
Like, what do you
Angela,
see?
you just snapped. Um, came to me in a vision. Okay. To be candid, and I believe in like to the people watching, like I believe in like a really crazy form of honesty. Like I'm gonna come up with a name of it one day. Like I believe that you could just like be honest with people, and some people will accept it, and some people will reject it. And the people who reject it, you know, to stay away from. People who accept you being like completely honest. Like if I told Angela like the worst thing I ever did, and he like kind of like rejected me, I would know, okay, like maybe we're not meant to be best friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that goes for other people. Obviously, I'm not telling everybody I know the worst thing I ever did, but I mean like I'll tell them an honest opinion about something, and if they don't even want to talk about it, and even if they disagree, they won't talk to me, then I'll know, okay, stay away from them. So when it comes to my wife, I would say that to be able to be completely honest with that person, like completely honest. I don't care. And obviously there's extreme situations. There are like obviously if you're, God forbid, your wife cheats on you, for her to be confident enough to just tell you, right? And obviously that would drastically ruin a relationship. But to know that like, or even if you have a girlfriend and she cheats on you, for her to have the confidence to say, and then it would protect both of you from having a lifetime of a terrible marriage or whatever. I need somebody who's honest, trustworthy, loving, caring. Obviously, you need to be attracted to the person you're marrying, but I don't want that person. I don't want my wife to think that she has to like look a certain way. Like I don't want her to look like the Instagram girls or whatever. I would much rather have somebody who's comfortable in themselves. And yes, of course, do I want the person I'm marrying to be athletic and interested in the same things that I'm interested in? Of course. But ultimately, when we're 70, 80, 90, and we're laying in bed talking about, you know, the news or something, like we're beauty is fleeting. And one day you'll be laying in bed all wrinkly on your last days. I would much rather have a conversation with that person and be able to have like to share these opinions that we might differ, right? In the same way that Angelo and I, our relationship is strong because we differ so much, right? Like we were talking about last night, the fact that if I said blank opinion, right, and he said yup, it just agreed with me.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, like if he just sounds good, that's awesome. I would go crazy. I don't want my wife to agree with me all the time. I don't want her to just yep, yep, yep. Of course, if we're in a dangerous situation and I say this is what we should do, I don't want her to be like, well, like I want there to be a certain amount of trust there. But if it's about how to raise the kids or how to spend money or how to save money or how to like direct our family, of course I want a second opinion, right? Like in times of need, I'll go to Angelo, or in times of need, I'll pray and hopefully like find out what I'm supposed to do. Like a wife isn't just like a prop, right, or an object, right? Despite what the world like wants you to think that like we're all just like we're objectifying each other. No, I would much rather have somebody who's like a voice in my life.
More not just trying to go through the motions of life, but actually have thoughts and opinions in life.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of people that just kind of agree with everything and then just go through life without an opinion, kind of thing. Okay with that, and if that's how you want to live your life, that's okay. But yeah, I don't think I'd want a wife that is like that. I want a wife with ambitions and
goals of her own.
Goals of her own.
But I would also say this is another thing about going through life. I do think that you have to be similar enough in certain senses. Like, I do believe that the person I marry will believe, like, be a part of the same religion as me, but it doesn't mean um, that they're going to have the same identical opinions. And the only reason I think that's important is for the kids. It's like when you have that certain moment where you're like, okay, how are we going to raise the kids? If I'm uh, if I'm Christian, it might be harder if my wife is Buddhist to like find an equal, uh, like to find a middle ground there. But obviously, God works in mysterious ways, so maybe I'll end up marrying a Buddhist.
You never know.
You never know.
Yeah. And I think you can always find a common ground. Like, if you two love each other, and I think if you are open to each other's kind of opinions and respect each other's religions in a sense, I think it's possible if you are willing to make it work.
Mhm.
But
Ooh, but that is like, cause yeah, I agree. But I agree, but I disagree
yeah.
because I would say I agree in the sense that if I'm if I'm a Catholic, which I am, and I marry somebody who's a Lutheran, right? Like somebody who's still a part of the Christian faith, I think that it's almost like that would be harder than if I was Christian and she was Jewish.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean? Because then
yeah.
you're like, it's not because you're so similar, but you're so different that it would be like the gap between you is small, but then the ability to cross that gap is huge. Well, if I'm um Catholic and somebody's a Jew, right? I marry her, right? And then like try and like it's almost like she could just like jump ship, right? And like just convert to Catholicism. But I think because that would be like easier than trying to like change somebody's already Christian views.
That's valid.
Yeah. Yeah. But I know what you're saying. What about you?
I fantasize about getting a wife often.
Yes, of course.
It's something that I think is a very big decision, and it's something that I think you really need to like kind of think about and explore in a sense, but not explore like people nowadays explore.
Yeah. Mentally explore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, everyone's just talking person to person,
Diabolical.
right? But like, I don't know. I've put a lot of thought into like what I want in a wife, and as much as there's a lot of things that I would love in a girl, there's only like a couple big things that I
That
look.
must occur.
Yes, and like ambition is a big one. Like, I want them to have a drive, not just like be content. Like at a point in your life, yes, being content is okay, but like right now, I want you to have like a drive, like want more in life, like a better life, not just like you want to be okay with your life now, but
I was just gonna ask that. I was just gonna say like be okay with where you're at, but desire
more.
better almost. Yeah. Like more, not like I want more money, I want more, but better life, like with what you have.
And just like becoming a better person. Because if you tell yourself like, "Oh, I'm already the best person I can be,"
You're screwed.
you're done. Which is like, yeah, you're the best person in this moment right now. But how about tomorrow? How can I be better? There's always like something better that you can do, right? So like that's a big thing. Obviously, I want to be attracted to the person. Yeah. That's another big thing.
But I think that's like baseline.
Yeah.
Right.
Active is another one. It doesn't have to be a gym rat or anything like that, but like just to be healthy, and taking care of her body, and being able to like come on ski trips, and because I would love to go on a ski trip with my family one day. Like that's like a big goal is like go to Europe with my family, the kids, the wife, go on the mountain together, right? Like make it like a yearly thing. Like every winter we pick a different place
instead of just like going to the beach. Yeah. That seems like hell to me.
But it's like it's not horrible. I enjoy chilling on the beach, but that's.
But I mean, like the idea of every year you go on like a trip and do the same. Yeah. Like, okay, we're gonna sit at this resort, eat bad, like like that. Like that doesn't seem like vacation. That seems like punishment.
and it's a lot of times it's not vacation. Like
It's just stress.
yeah, like a lot of people just come out of it
Excuse me.
worse. I watched a video I think a year ago, and it's like a lot of people go on vacation to relax,
Mhm.
but then they stress out their body with a bunch of alcohol, a bunch of food.
So you feel
They
crappy.
feel so crappy. You come back,
You're like, I need another
you
vacation.
you need a break from your vacation. It's like I don't know. That's in my mind. That's not what vacation is. But to like go skiing with my
Like,
family,
have fun.
yeah, just enjoy.
Because
the
for
time.
me, like, what I imagine, because everybody, I think, and I bet there's some people listening that imagine this as well, where it's like, I imagine, like, what I'm going to do when I have those things, which is, it's not good to live in fantasy, but, like, I think it's okay to, like, think about it, you know? And so I imagine, like going to, like, the mountains and, like, running and hiking and, like, climbing, like, a mountain with your like, obviously, because I like to run, like, I imagine, like, okay, I'll, like, Dad's going running, and then, like, after, like, we'll go, like, hiking or like, something like that, or exploring,
Yeah.
you know? Because I want my kids to, like, grow up knowing that there's more to life than, like, relaxing, right? Like, you can relax, but you can also do good things, right? Like, you can go to let's say, go to Italy and go see a bunch of cool, churches and temples and whatever, and see history, but also you don't have to eat. Like, for it to be vacation, you don't have to, like, eat crap and drink, and, like, you can have fun outside of, uh, outside of, like yeah, exactly, precisely. Yeah,
Because that's like society wants you to think.
go to Ibiza and go do pills. Go do pills in a bathroom.
Fun, that's relaxing, but it's not like it's only more stress in your body. But like fun to experience maybe if you want, like if that's something.
What do you mean, fun to experience?
Like just like the drinking and.
Oh, okay, yeah, like a few times in your life,
Yeah,
get
like, I think if you were to
blotto.
tell your kids like this is horrible, this is bad, never do it, and like take it away from them.
Yeah, they're just gonna rebel.
Crazy once they're in there.
Or show them, like a good example would be, like, on New Year's, like, give them a couple drinks and be like, no, like, once they're like 15 or 16, and be like, this, like, there's nothing special about this. This isn't. I saw an article recently. It's like this lady. She's like, drinking's not fun anymore. And so she's quitting drinking, but, like, reading it seemed like drinking was never fun. Like, like, it's like reading it. It always seemed like she always recognized that it wasn't fun. It's just like once it started taking, like, a toll on her is when she started being like, oh, I should stop this. But I think that you should teach your kids, like, before it starts taking a toll on them, right? Because, like, I never drank growing up, and so I always felt like once I drink, it'll be awesome. And then I started, like, drinking, and it wasn't awesome, but I told myself it was awesome, right? Because it was like, I'll do this for the rest of my life. You drink it, like, whatever, 4 beers a night, just feel great. And then you go to bed, you wake up in the morning, and you feel like you need to drink, right? So
yeah, that's the thing. It's like you wake up, you feel horrible, and then like if you drink again, then it's like
worse.
You feel worse until like you finally can like get out.
Yeah.
I didn't have that problem with drinking, but smoking was my alcohol in a sense.
Yeah.
My parents always exposed me to like alcohol, so I never really cared for it. I was just like, yeah, there's nothing special. It makes me sleepy. I just want to lay down and sleep.
Really? Because it had the opposite effect for me. Like, I know, like, technically it's a depressant, but I'd be like, yeah, man, let's go, like, party. Like, it was just, and I think you're like, there's almost like a psychological element that plays into it, like, where you're telling yourself what it should feel like. Right?
Yeah. There's only a couple times when I'd go out and like in college and stuff, get drunk, drink. But at the end of the night, I was just like,
feel terrible.
Like,
that's the worst. I would always say that too. Like, I just want to go, like, in my head. Yeah. Like, I just want to go home.
I was always like, middle of the night, I was the party pooper. So I would just be tired.
Yeah, go home.
Like, I just want to go home.
But I had that when I would smoke pot. It's like for the first, like, year I smoked weed, I was like, I would like even if I smoked by myself, I would like watch a video, ha ha ha, and I'd be like so like almost like crazy, you know, because it had such an effect on me. The more I smoked, the more I was like, I knew that I had to stop because I became so anxious and almost like to the point of paranoia. Like I would be like I would walk down the street, and like somebody would walk by me and be like, "Whoa, like what are they doing here?" And I wouldn't know them. And that sort of deep paranoia, I think, is that same effect of like it's like the true colors of the drug being shown, right? Like everybody has a certain personality, and so with you, alcohol made you sleepy. For me, it made me like confident and laughing,
Yeah.
right? For weed, for you, it relaxes you. For me, it produces like a certain amount of like euphoria, but it also creates anxiety, like severe anxiety.
Yeah. I think I don't know. For me, I think like it is a negative in a sense that can be used as a positive, but if you use it too much, that's when the negative appears.
Well, that's like lots like ibogaine is like a whatever hallucinogen, and people use it to quit eat like hard drugs, right? So I think that there's like we have these substances on Earth for a reason, right? Like I forget what the bacteria that makes penicillin is. It's like a fungus, I think, or amoxicillin. Anyway, but like these things that just seem like kind of random and like maybe even dangerous can be used for something good, right? Like alcohol can be used ceremonially. It can be used like they used to treat diseases with it. It can be used as an antiseptic, but it can also ruin your life and give you the worst addiction you've ever had, right? Same with nicotine. Nicotine's a great blood thinner, right?
Good for cognitive.
Yeah, it keeps away what is that called? Parkinson's.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like proven or just like a theory. But it can like stop certain things from happening. And so even like everything can be used negatively. Running.
I was about to say that too.
Yeah. Running is amazing. I'll do it like and even after this, I'll still do it 6 days a week, right? But will I do it in the same way that I used to do it? No. Because before I was like it was almost like a certain amount of insecurity, right? And I think that's where drug use I'm connecting the two. It's like insecurity. And so like if somebody's super unconfident, they might take cocaine and go to a party and be like, I'm literally Superman or whatever. For me, the insecurity of like being like it's almost like when I got thin and I started getting like looking a certain way, it was almost like the insecurity of maybe that changing was I solved that with the drug of running, right? And I was just like I was dosing every day, but I was also dosing in a way that was crazy. Like I was running Monday, 21 kilometers, whatever. Boom, fast. And then, like in the same way, maybe you start smoking like a little joint and then all of a sudden you're smoking like huge joints every day. I was doing the same thing.
Would you say that also it's like insecurity or like if I run slow,
I look slow.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
that's why
slowest isn't.
Yeah, like even if I was running like 4-minute kilometers for like, and that is like, I would never say that's slow, but that's like not pushing it, right? Like I could do a pretty far run like that, like maybe I don't even know how long, but even if I wore the watch and it would say 4-minute kilometers, I'd be like, that's so like I gotta go faster. Everybody's looking at me, and that is a form of I don't know if that's vanity or pride. I don't know the correct definition, but it's like the idea that like anybody cares. No one cares. But like in my head, everybody, oh, I gotta go. I feel so slow. Everybody's looking at me. I gotta, And so I would run at like 4:30 a.m. and I would have the best runs because no one's out, and I would be calm. I would relax and I would enjoy the run, or I would go out at like 12 at night and just jog, right? And those runs felt the best. I would get done, let's say, well, like if I went out at that time, I'd almost always do like 15 kilometers. And I get home and I feel like I could do it again. right? Which is the sign of a good run. But then when everybody else was out or driving, I'd be like, I gotta go fast. It's just, and it really sucked, right? So
yeah. So I feel the same, like with weightlifting in the gym, and if it's a busy day in the gym and I'm squatting or something, and I don't have like 4 plates on the bar, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna think something weak. Even though like I load 2 plates on and people are already impressed. It's like no one cares how much you do, whatever.
only you do.
Yeah, literally only you do, and they are already impressed that you're.
But it's like I wish I could be like escape that feeling of like I need to impress.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, if I want to do this long term, right? People are already like you're right. People are already impressed, but I need to like skip that step and be like it doesn't matter what they think. They're just humans, right? Like I should care only what God thinks, right? And I would do that. I would say, God, this run, like before I run, I pray, mostly as like I hope that it's good, but it's like this one's for you, they should all be for you, instead of like me going out and feeling like I gotta go like super fast. And with running with the shirt off, I was talking to Angela about this last night. I really don't I really love running with my shirt off because it's so comfortable. You put on the split shorts, which are like the ones with a line down the side. You put on like the like special running underwear. You get the socks, you get the nice shoes, and then you just go out on a hot day with the sunglasses on. Just relax. But it's almost this like urge to like look different, look better, right? And I'm trying to escape that sort of feeling because again, not to use this word, but it sucks, right? Because it's like when you're held captive by your own sin, right? Because it's even though like you're perceiving somebody else, maybe like somebody else's thoughts, right? Oh, like that guy's fat, right? Like for me, like I think that like I look fat when I run, and so I'm like always like so tense and I'm like flexed, right? But ultimately that's my sin, right? That's my pride, that's my vanity, seeping into my to something that could be so positive.
I think like for me, one thing that helped me get over the I look so fat right now is gaining that little bit of fluff and then looking back and being like, why did I think that I looked fat like back then? Because I like gained it, and now I'm like, I didn't even look fat at all, like kind of thing.
Well, that's that. Yeah, agree. No, I was gonna say that I knew it was like a problem when I did so at my gym there's a body scan device that tells you your fat percentage, and I got like 6.4%, and I was like, my like heart dropped. I was like, oh, this like I'm so fat, right? And then a guy who I thought was like super skinny, he got like 14%, and I was like, I don't know. It just made me like realize like I have like a little bit of an issue, and I think that like admitting to the issue is like good,
At least you can recognize.
Yeah, because it's like this idea that everybody else is so much better, but then you realize like that you're okay.
You are better than you were before.
Yeah.
It's I have the same issue that everyone else.
So much better.
So much better. Top tier. And then I'm just here like, who am I? Like, I'm no one compared to everyone else kind of thing. But then as God, we're all the same. It's just like, be better than you were yesterday.
Be better than you, not be better than that guy or this guy or whatever.
It's not a life to live. And it did help me in the gym. It fueled some of my drive to like get better by looking at other like bigger dudes and be like, oh, I want to be like that guy. And, oh, I'm going to try to be better than that guy. But there comes to a certain point where it's just like not healthy, because then you'll never reach anything. There's always someone
better,
bigger and better than you, but you have gotten so much better than you were yesterday, and that's what matters. Because then that drives your fuel. Is I want to be better than I was yesterday. I don't care about anyone else, but who I was yesterday, and just be better than that.
Instead of chasing, because I do like. I think it's almost like if you set a goal for yourself and then like see your progression through that goal, right? So going from like so before the my last race, sorry, 2 races ago, which was the marathon, I saw like the progression and like seeing I didn't even look that much different. Like I felt different. And I just remember like waking up for like the final run before they call it like the taper, right? And it was like it was like a really long run. It was like 37 kilometers or something crazy. Anyway, it was like easy. I just remember it being like easy. I halfway through I stopped at a Tim Hortons and I like felt like I wasn't even running. And I just like walked in there, used the bathroom, came out, finished the rest of the run. And I remember being like, wow, like that was like amazing. And on that run, a guy, but I told you about him. He was like the
On the bike.
guy on the bike. Guy on the bike. Shout
Shout
out
out.
if this podcast takes off, I want to talk to that guy on the bike. He runs marathons, but he had a heart attack, sadly. But he came up beside me on a bike, and he like guessed my pace, like almost exactly, and he like what I was looking my pace currently, and then the pace I needed for the marathon, and he's like, good luck. We had this conversation, but I realized like I ran beside this guy on a bike for like 7 kilometers, right? And I just remember like, and I was talking normally, like not even out of breath. And I just remember feeling like I've progressed, right? And that sort of progression is like more valuable than like looking like because sometimes I look at the professional runners and I'm like I look like that a little bit, and I'm not being vain, like I'm not being facetious or whatever it's called. I'm literally saying like I'm starting to look a little bit like that, like when I have my shirt off, like skinny, but like not like I still have like a little like fluff because your body's so stressed, you like keep fat, um, and it's a sense of almost like not I've made it, but I'm making it.
Yeah, I feel the same way with like powerlifting and stuff. Like, it's nice. It's nice to see that progression, and that's why for me at least, I enjoy doing like a bulk and a cut because I get to see that progression. Like my cuts, you see the progression more in your body when then you bulk up and like your weights just jump up and like you feel so much stronger and fuller and like you feel like you can bench 1,000,000 pounds even though you can't, but like your muscles just like
Feel it.
feel so much denser and it's like so nice. And then you cut and you get to see all that muscle that was feeling dense. It's like showing kind of thing. And it's just like the enjoyable progress of like constantly
progressing. Yeah. So I would ask you then, but during the time you're in the bulk, do you feel a sense of like, oh, I'm big, or no? Because
like big in what
I'm fat.
Sometimes, like when I first started doing the bulks and cuts,
Yeah.
The first bulk after my first cut, I was like,
oh, I feel fat.
I'm just fat.
Yeah.
And then I cut again, and I was like,
oh, I'm ripped.
I'm so much bigger than I was the first cut.
Yeah.
And I'm a lot stronger already.
Okay.
And then you just keep doing it, and like now, this is probably like my third bulk, whatever, fourth bulk, and like yeah, you still get the I'm fat kind of thing, but I felt that when I was skinny, like I was when I was
so
low body fat percentage.
there's like it's almost like because that's the thing is like even so yeah, like when I'm at my lowest, right, like before the marathon I was like really low, right, like that's the skinniest I've ever been. I weighed 159 pounds, right, I'm 6'1" ish, I'm losing height though because of how much I run. I'm like slowly turning into like an old man. Um,
I lost. I was at the doctor the
whoa,
other day.
right? Is it because I think it's you're compressing
I'm
your
getting
spine because of the
compressing my
weight,
spine.
but mine it's apparently because your abs like when you run, it's like your spine bends out,
Mm,
and so you build like when I flex, my gut like it comes out. So that difference, like your spine moving in, is what gives you that little bit of height loss. Anyway, so I'm like 6'1" in air quotes. Maybe one day I'll be like 5'8", if everything goes to plan. Um, but even when I was at my thinnest, I was like, I'm fat.
yeah,
So I think it's almost like you have to just get like comfortable saying, like not tricking your mind, but telling your mind,
yeah,
like stop, like almost being able to control your thoughts more and saying, Robbie, like what you're thinking is incorrect.
yeah,
It's literally wrong.
yeah.
Instead of trying to convince yourself the other way and being like, Robbie, you're skinny. Just be like, Robbie, you're you.
Yeah, exactly. That was my realization. Like in the last fall was like I'm the only person that cares about this right now, and everyone else sees me as fit and skinny and like ripped, and I'm looking at myself like, oh, I'm the
I'm the fattest
person.
guy in the world.
Literally,
That's that's crazy.
you just have to tell yourself no. And right now, I'm in this fall phase, so I can get
But
stronger.
I also think if I can control that thought, I can build. So for people who don't know, nobody knows. Like this is our first time talking about this, but like obviously he knows, so I don't have to like inform him. Um, so I'm thinking about getting a coach for running. There's a couple. There's two girl coaches. There's one named Philly. She's from England, but she has a wait list. And there's another girl. I forget her first name. Wojak, I think. Um, in Canada. And then there's a couple. There's a guy coach in Toronto, but he doesn't. It's not that his ratings aren't that high. It's just like it doesn't seem like he's like for people who want to like really, really, really progress. It just seems like he's for people who are beginning and like need the help getting from like 0 miles to like 10 miles a week. Um, but maybe I don't know. I'm gonna pick one. Um, though, um, like I'm trying to figure out like what I'm gonna do for my mileage.
Yeah,
So it's a little bit the sense of like kind of like letting the reins go, just like trusting that like whatever. Oh, so with the mileage, if I could control uh how I felt about my body, I could control my runs better. Because right now, I will even if I feel like crap, I'll run Monday through Friday. I won't give myself the Saturday off, even though I need it, because I'm so insecure about I need to run. I need to if I don't do this, then the next marathon out the window. I won't be able to do it. Right? But that's the insecurity playing in where if Angelo's super sore, he could probably take the day off. But for me, I feel this sort of like it's not even about performance. It's about looks. And that's completely it's completely incorrect.
yeah, yeah. It's usually like if you usually you need that day off and you take that day off, and the next day after your day off, you come back stronger,
Way better.
better. Like for me, I remember um, like 2 years ago when I was like my leanest, I would like feel the same thing. Like, oh, I can't take a day off because if I take a day off, then
This
I'm
one
just
day will ruin everything.
ruin everything, which is like
Completely incorrect.
completely incorrect.
Because I've been reading there's a thing called the triphasic model, which is basically like you work out, sorry, you're at this level of performance, you work out, your performance goes down, you wait like whatever, I think it's like 18 hours, and then your performance jumps up, right? But if you don't wait that 18 hours between your runs or your workouts, you're actually just dipping yourself lower and lower and lower. And yes, you'll hypercompensate eventually, but if you never take that break, you won't be able to hypercompensate enough to get over that hump. And so that's why I'm thinking about this coach because I need somebody who knows the stuff. I can read as many of these training books as possible and like look on the internet, but ultimately the person, the girl, the Canadian girl, she was in the Olympics. She knows. Like there's no going about the fact that she knows more than me, right? So I need to like rely on somebody who can be like, you know what, we're gonna do more mileage than you've ever done. We're gonna do like 140 kilometers a week, but we're gonna do it in a way you won't get hurt, because ultimately I can't keep doing this to myself, because eventually it will be something serious.
Yeah.
And a broken foot's moderately serious, but I mean like something that, like, what if I snap my ACL? I won't be able to run for 6 months, and that would actually affect my performance.
Yeah, and that's kind of like why I wanted to get a coach as well. Like, cause I have a coach for powerlifting. Started last week, first week, like I mentioned at the start of the podcast. But my thought process is like I want to know how to do it and prepare for a competition right properly, instead of just like going and lifting as much weight as I can until I'm stronger.
Yeah.
Right.
There's got to be a better way.
There's got to be a better way. And if I do it for a year, see how it is, maybe I'll understand it a lot more.
And then do it yourself.
I can figure it out myself. Because yes, coaches know the best.
Excuse me.
Like, right? Like, that girl went to the Olympics. She knows
the
best, but she also knows the best for her body. She'll teach you what she can that helped her, but at the end of the day,
You gotta know you.
You gotta know your own body and what's best for your body. So maybe a coach will help me lower that weight and understand that I can just lower the weight and get stronger with lower weights, right? So that in the next year, I'll just be like, I'll lower my weights and make proper programs for myself, rather than just going in and
trying to lift as much as possible.
Lift as much as possible every time.
And I think that's also with the diet, because like I'm good with like keep it like not eating the calories, right? But that's like not at all what you're supposed to do. Like in my mind, I'm like, okay, as long I'll think, okay, I ran 17 and a half kilometers today. That equals about 1,000 calories. So then if I take up 2,000 calories plus 1,000, 3,000 calories, eat 3,000 calories, and then, Bob's your uncle, boom, I'm fine. But if you're just filling your gut with 3,000 calories of like protein shakes and and like I don't know what I eat really, like steak and stuff like that, and chicken. Actually, that's all good stuff. What am like? Okay, I'll give a better example. Pasta. I'll eat 1,000 calories of pasta. Is that really doing anything for my body? It might help with carbs, but it's not going to give me the protein I need in the right way and over the right duration, right? Because I'll run 17 and a half on no food. So I won't even bring a gel or anything, which I know is you're not supposed to do that. So it's about finding somebody who's going to help you with the whole thing, teach you it. Obviously, these people don't charge nothing for the work. You're paying them. But ultimately, if I give this girl whatever $1,200 for the year, it's more than that. It's like $1,500 for the year. If she teaches me something I'll have for the rest of my life, worth it.
Yeah. Especially because it's something that you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a hobby in your mind kind of thing.
No. Like it's more.
Yeah, something a lot more for you. So money's always worth it. Money comes and goes.
Absolutely. But
knowledge
forever. So yeah, I think that is going to play a major role in my progression, because I do want to make a huge leap in my times, but I'm very aware that it's going to take a lot for those things to happen. So yeah. So I think now is my time to ask Angelo a random question. I would say maybe this is a bit of a loaded question, but where do you see powerlifting taking you? And I know you said you want, and it was in the episode before, you said you want to go to Worlds and you want to do it like professionally, but like, do you see that being your life?
So I don't think I would definitely want to make it to higher competitions and see where I can compete. But if I'm being completely honest, I don't see it as like my life. I see fitness and the gym staying with my life and heavy weights. I love lifting heavy weights, but not necessarily powerlifting. It's something that I do want to try and see that if I can maybe get to like top 3, top 5 in the competitions, that would make me really happy. But I kind of want to go all over the fitness like competitions, like in the sense of I really do want to try one day going into CrossFit or going into like a high rock competition or like even like trying just strongman, right? I don't necessarily want to stick with powerlifting, but if it does work out and I get really good at it, kind of thing, it would kind of stick within my life. But in all things, like I have goals, and powerlifting is one of those goals, but it's not like my.
It's not the it's not your summum bonum. It's not your ultimate good.
It's something that I do want at this in this moment. But yeah, a bigger, better thing.
Of course, there's always something bigger,
right? So yeah, ultimately, I just love the fitness world, and maybe one day I will try and even run a marathon and
give it next year.
Go bigger because those what are they? The ultra marathons intrigue me. Those intrigue me big time. So my first step would be a marathon, and then
see how it goes.
Because I would love to run even just 100 kilometers. Nuts in my mind.
Yeah.
Right.
Me and Angela have a little something planned for next year. I won't get into details because I still have to make sure that like I can do it. Not like physically I can do it because I think that like I have that certain amount of pizzazz that I'll just like I'll literally like I don't know, I'll just do it. Just get out there. But it is running like an ultra, like a very long ultra. But I still need to make sure that I like the people who are running it will allow me to do that under like not just under their supervision, but to be able to like get into the like the relay, but just like not do the relay system, just like do it. And I just want to make sure they'll say yes before I actually like tell people about it. Yeah. And then actually, this question came to me in a vision just now, and this is like completely not fitness related. What do you think like the biggest problem in the world is right now? Like I know that's huge, and I don't mean like war. I don't mean like there's children who are hungry. Obviously, pray that they get some food, but like facing like people, like generally.
I think honestly the biggest problem in the world or in
Society, because obviously like the bombing of people is bad, but like we know that.
And this may be very controversial or not, but I honestly do think it is like social media and the internet,
the phone, man.
Which is crazy to say because we're trying here to get our voices out on the internet, but I think that's because we see how much bad it is, and we're trying to
change it a little bit.
Yeah, because I honestly think the internet, right, electronics, to be an amazing thing.
It is an amazing thing. Like it already is. Like this, like if we were Neanderthals and we saw this,
crazy.
I would literally die. It would be like seeing the face of God.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just pieces of silicon connected together with copper and gold and whatever, and like it all works. Like, that's an amazing thing. but if it's being used for evil.
But yeah, that's the thing. I think it's being overused, and we're just like we're not progressed enough as a society, as a human, but electronics have like gone crazy, right? So like
Like
we
video
just
games look real
yeah.
now.
So we don't even know, like, I don't know. I feel like it's just like we're killing our brain at the moment with all these electronics.
Mhm.
Who was I talking to that was saying we have progressed so much more back then without
Whoa,
electronics?
who was that?
Who
I
was
know
it?
you. I
Yeah.
know about this.
Yeah, who was that? Because he was saying we progressed a lot more with
Who did we
without
see recently?
electronics, and then
Was it your dad or something? It was someone on your side of.
was it?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Anyway, somebody very smart said that.
Like back then, we didn't have electronics. We were progressing as a society quickly. Um, and now that we have electronics, we have slowed down as a society, and we're just letting electronics
So your
take
brother?
everything. No, I think it was someone at church.
Well, it was. Yeah, it was.
Was
Uh,
it
not Megan.
no, was it his name?
Andrew. It was Andrew. It was Andrew. We were in the kitchen. Yeah. Okay. We figured it out, but we still don't know who it is. But I could not agree more. I don't think it's I think it's like number 2. I think like moral decline, and it's so intertwined with electronics because like I was telling my dad because we were like something came up on the TV, and I was like, I think your opinion is more common than you think it is, right? With the media, like I know that's so like the media, like generally speaking, the media like says things, and then people think that's what everybody else is thinking, you know?
So
But in reality, like 90% of people think what they think, and so people have an opinion that 50% of people hate them and 50% of people love them. But if you are living in that reality, you you never know who's who. And so therefore everybody hates you because humans are pessimistic. We choose to think that everybody hates us. I think that like moral decline, whether it's the fact that even if people in the 1700s, right, like were religious and they didn't believe, they still did the religious things. You know what I mean? Like they still tried, because if you're living in a society where you might get burned to death for being a heretic, you're definitely going to follow the rules, right? Even if you don't believe, right? And I'm not saying you should believe in like have false faith and all that. I'm saying that generally speaking, people I think were more moral, even if terrible things were happening. You were drawn and quartered, and all this crazy torture was happening all the time, and public executions. People were still more moral now because it's super okay to be super secular, right? And I don't think it's wrong to be secular. I think it's okay uh, if you don't have a religion and stuff like that. I think there's good people who are in both camps, but I think that because people are seeing all this stuff on the media and saying, okay, well, it's okay to have promiscuous sex. It's okay to have terrible relationships. It's okay to be like fraudulent with people. It's okay to um have these opinions which might be a detriment to you because people think it's okay. Everybody's just like, whatever. I'm doing whatever I want. I'm gonna, I don't know, like something super bad. They're gonna do things that they might not do if their parents were watching.
I think that is because of
Social media.
social media,
Yes.
because we're exposed to it so much. Back then, we didn't have that social media.
No,
So like,
you might have a printing press in your town
yeah,
or something that
so
would give you the news.
yeah, you might know someone that has cheated on a spouse, or
Yeah.
you know someone 2 towns over, right? But
Now it's like
now
everybody.
everyone is doing it. Like you just see you open your phone, and like, that's kind of why I have so much trust issues, because I look on Instagram and stuff and see all these like people with like the interviews on the streets, like their girlfriend or
Oh
boyfriend.
my goodness.
You'd
Check
be
your
like,
phone.
check your phones.
My goodness.
Do you want to check each other's phones? And they'll be like, okay, sure. And then the guy finds out that the girl has like 50 other dudes on her Snapchat.
But isn't that
Right?
so like sorry, I have to put my phone up. I think that let me think. Because we think it's so like I think people are good and evil, right? I was talking to Angela about this last night. There is like a binary, right? Like for most things, you're either good or you're bad. You're either nice or you're not, right? Like, and those things can change maybe on a daily basis if you're nice or not. How's your day going? But I think that people who are engaged in that activity will always be engaged in that activity, right? And everybody can come to God, everybody can change their life. But absent thereof, a major moment in your life, right? Like a major moment that changes who you are. And I don't mean changes it for the day or the week or the month or the year. Changes it forever. Without that happening, you're always going to be stuck in the same cycle um, of evil, right? I think that that's plain and simple how people are. I think that because even in the moments in my life where I've even absent thereof, like sorry, 5 years ago, maybe I would have done some of those things, but I would have never like cheated or like there's a certain line in the sand when it comes to morality, right? And yes, I've made terrible mistakes in my life, but since I had that moment with God, since I changed my life, it never crossed my mind to do those things. It never crossed my mind to do certain evil acts, right? And I think you're either I don't want to say you're either good or you're bad, right? But I think that in the moment you're either good or you're bad, right? Like you're choosing. So the example of the cheating, it's not like I hate the thing. Oh, I was drunk or I was I was doing this. It takes so many decisions, so many choices to do something evil. It takes a lot of I wouldn't say it takes a lot of planning, but like you have a million chances to step out of the bar, to hang up the call, or not send the pictures, and uh, it takes a million. Like it's too many steps between you and evil to always blame it on evil. At a certain point, you have to accept responsibility and blame it on yourself, right? And just be like, it was me. You know, it wasn't providence, it wasn't chance, it was me making a choice, and that choice was evil.
Yeah. Definitely. It's always a choice.
Yes.
Life's a choice. I can't agree or disagree with you on that one. I can agree fully with you actually. I don't like that, but the whole thing just made me start thinking.
Yeah, but can I quickly say this because that just came to me? It's also with good. Like people think that good people just like occur.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the people who change the world just like happen to change the world, right? And I'm not talking about people who invent things. And yeah, they change the world in a variety of ways. But I'm talking about people who change the world morally, right? And that doesn't mean the broad world. Like I'm talking about if you change your family, if you help change your workplace, they're not just doing like people aren't good because like they're making a choice to be good because they see what evil can be, and they also see um like the glory of being good, right? Like, and I'm not talking about personal glory. I'm talking about like if you, it doesn't matter if like no one will know me in 150 years, right? Like odds are maybe my family will, and maybe like a small community of people that like not for me personally because I don't think I'm going to invent anything, but or people who remember like what you did, but no one's going to know you. But people who you've changed will know you for the entirety of their lives. And that's no glory for me. It's glory for God. It's glory for a different thing. But it's about doing the right thing because it's worth doing.
Yeah. And I like to add that like all choices I feel like have risk and reward.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's right to say, but like I don't think a lot of people are thinking nowadays about risks and like
I don't think they're thinking about rewards either.
they just kind of
They're just like doing
do
stuff.
it. Yeah, it's like I live a lot of my life like thinking and knowing the risks and rewards, and as long as I know the risks and I'm okay with them when they happen, I'm like not too upset with it kind of thing. But I think a lot of people don't think about the risks, and then when the bad things happen to them, they like go.
I agree, but I also think it's like I don't want to be held responsible.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And people when if you live your life not being held accountable for your actions, when you get held accountable for your actions. Oh, and this is the thing, it's because your parents are supposed to hold you accountable for your actions.
Yeah.
So that's why when you're young, you're like dumb, and you like just like them for it. But then when you start holding other people accountable for their actions, I hate it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like I just got more recently. I'm like if somebody keeps swearing around me, I'll just tell them like language.
Yeah.
And I know that seems like weird maybe, but you're a grown person, right? And I understand people swear and do whatever, but if you go around in your life, like I'm not your boss. I'm not the person who's hiring you. I'm not the person who's I'm not your husband or wife. I'm just a random guy. Your swearing, all it does is just kind of like make me feel a little like just comforted, right? Uneasy. It makes me like concerned.
Yeah.
But if I can tell you, hey, watch your language because you sound like a like it makes people have a certain opinion of you,
Yeah.
right? If I tell that to you and you actually change your behavior, how much greater will the reward be when you don't swear in front of your future wife and you don't say like the C word or the F? Like people are swearing like, and don't get me wrong, I used to swear, I used to say F word, but I am so thankful that I stopped because now I see how I sounded. I sounded like a trucker, and that's not it. That's just using like truckers are probably great people, but just the old or like swore like a sailor.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like
I'd like that. Like swearing, in a sense, is like just like and
oh
that
I'm bad at that I'm bad at.
they're filler words.
Yeah.
And it makes you seem unintelligent
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know how to properly talk. So
Mm-hmm.
like you kind of
So it's like almost like saying bruh, bruh.
just adding these words kind of thing. I don't know. I used to swear a lot.
Yeah.
And this is my life.
I'm just gonna swear. It's like cigarettes. I'm never smoking a cigarette, and I'm smoking every day until I die. Like it's a choice. It's like
as soon as we reconnected and swear, but also swearing in front of you, I was like,
and I remember you used to say shit like a lot, but then like you would say it and then you go like shh, like shh.
That's how all of I used to, whenever I wanted to say the F word, I used to say fun.
Yeah.
Like, fun. And then like I just stopped saying it after a while.
But okay, and I would say that swearing is addictive because so when I broke my foot, the morning before I got the cast on, it was like it was really swollen. It was like so if this is my regular size foot, it was like double the size width. Okay. And I was right here in my bed. I stood up and I stepped on it like really hard. No, like I like stepped like using using it to get out of bed. And I went like I won't say it, but like effer, right? Like the F word with an ER. And I just remember feeling like more disgusted that I swore than actually being in pain. And then I said it at the hospital too. Like I didn't say it. I went like I like mouthed it. And then it was kind of addictive because that night something went wrong. I think I started hurting, and I said it again. And I was like, "Whoa, why am I swearing?" And I think it's like if you can control the things that come out of your mouth, and I am trying to work on like and and going because it makes me sound dumb. I'm trying to get better at it, but it's very hard, and that's why like I have grace with people who swear. But beyond a certain point, you have to like change your life a little bit.
Well, it all comes down to like what you want. Like,
Yeah. Do you want to sound like a sailor? Do you want to
Yeah.
sound like a?
if you're okay with how you sound, then you're okay with it. That's anything. Like, if you want to change your life, it comes down to you wanting to do it.
If you want it enough.
But if you don't want it, you don't care for it, you're never gonna do it.
But that's like this.
Yeah.
Like me and Angela's been talking about this for literally since we started being friends. Like 2 months after we started being friends again, because we were friends in elementary school.
Yeah.
I went away to boarding school in grade 6, and then we reconnected. I know,
Left
brutal.
me. Left me.
I left him, but then it kind of worked out
all
because
worked
I
out.
think that I went through like a crazy period,
Yeah.
and I know I would have like dragged him into that. Like when I came, like if I came back into your life while I was still going through that, I would have probably ruined his life because I was drinking, I was smoking, I was hanging around with the wrong people, I was doing the wrong things. And I'm very convincing. So I think I would have been able to. Well, I'm just joking, but like I think that, especially if I was your friend, I knew it was wrong. I think actually that's not true because I saw him when I was still like going through the rough patch, and I knew enough to not like reach out because yeah, I guess I knew, but that's besides the point.
It all worked out. God had a plan.
It worked
We're
out.
here again.
Yes, sir.
Which is crazy.
But since the beginning of us reconnecting, he's been saying, "Oh, do the podcast, do the podcast." No, it wasn't specifically a podcast; it was more like YouTube channels.
Yeah.
And I didn't want it at all enough because I didn't have faith that I was good enough at running, or people cared about what I said, or because why would they?
Yeah. There's two guys.
Just some guys. That moment, though, when I realized that it was worth it, it was the very moment I downloaded the editing apps and I did this and I did that and got the stuff, got the camera, got the little board and this. When we started making progress, when the ball started turning, I knew I wanted it enough to get out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. I'm very glad that we're out here trying.
Of course.
Hopefully you guys are enjoying it, and you know. But yeah, I literally tell all of like my closest friends, everyone I was ever close with, I was like, let's start a YouTube channel, let's do this. But you're like the first person to like get
Here
the
we
ball
are.
rolling with me, you know?
And Andrew's got the ball rolling pretty good on his side. But it's not about, like, this is the thing. This is not about views. It's not about, like, if 1 million people watch 1 second of your video, is it the same as 100 people watching the whole thing? Not at all. Like, and I actually wonder, like, it might even be more time watched if 100 people watch 40 minutes versus 1 million people, you know, whatever.
I'd much rather one person go through my whole entire video
than 100 people watching nothing.
When that one guy commented on my video, I'm like,
ecstasy.
Actually watched my video.
Yeah. A chunk of it.
Good. I was like, I felt so much better than seeing the
view counter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is for me, I'm trying to get to a point where I am able to post a video and not feel so concerned. I don't know why I'm so nervous. I think it's just the fact that my face is on the internet for people to judge. If it's just my hand, if I'm like this, if I'm covered, and it's just my hands, and I'm just like talking, it's not the same. It really isn't. It's you're not personable. You're not, because I watch a lot of and before I say this, I want to say I watch regular ASMR. I don't watch the like, I don't want to watch some guy eating a bucket of chicken. Oh my! And his hands are dirty, or like the girls. There's like a lot of this like that. Like I don't want to do it. It's like it makes me feel a little sick.
Or they like touch the mic.
Oh.
They got like grippy mic that like
It's like this. I won't do it because I don't want to like give you guys like the worst headache of your life. But it's like they touch this and make like a sound. I watch like a guy who talks about maps, and but actually I haven't been recently. I don't know if that's just because I'm so tired of it, but if it's just your hands and you're just talking, you don't feel like a person. But
Yeah.
like right now, I'm definitely a person. I'm definitely somebody you got like to be judged, to be judgeable. And that's positive and negative judgment. It's like gives you if they see that you're not perfect, right? Like when I start posting these when I can run again, God willing, uh, when I start posting the videos, I don't want it to be my like a chest cam. I want you guys to like see that I'm like a regular guy. I'm not like mega. I'm not super handsome. I'm not super anything. But what I am is dedicated to the thing I love, and to share that with people is what could you ask for? Like that, like my entire life, not my entire life. I keep trying to find something that like I could do for God. Or, like God can obviously do everything.
Yeah.
But like, am I being called to be a cop? Maybe. I don't know. It's not that I don't want to be a cop. It's I think I would make an excellent police officer. But if I can help people, I was explaining this, I think, to Angela, and I explained it to my dad. Um, being a cop, you're helping people in the worst moment of their life, right? Not that anybody can be a cop, but a lot of people can be a cop, right? You just have to be willing to take action, be brave, and God forbid, you might have to hurt somebody or even kill somebody if they're putting somebody else's life in danger, right? Yeah, and I know you got to fill out paperwork, blah, 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 right? That's the basics. But to help people through, like on their good days, like to make their good days better. People might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bad days, really bad days in their life. But people have like 10,000 amazing days that could be made better by knowing that they're loved by God, they're loved by random people, that they're loved by me. And maybe that love isn't the same that you get from your parents or your wife, or well, I hope it's not the same. But you know what I mean? Like to offer somebody something better. Like you maybe you're not capable of uh, running a marathon right now,
Yeah.
but you can run a kilometer today, or you can lift a weight today, or you can play basketball today. Like it doesn't matter as long as you're doing like I'm adding something to somebody's life. I feel like as being a cop, yeah, you're adding protection and safety to people's lives.
Yeah.
But most of the time, you're just arresting like a drunk guy, or you're like you're tackling a homeless man, which is like I know that's the job, but I feel like I would personally find that very um, upsetting to always be like the bad news. Like I want to spread good news, not bad.
Yeah. I feel that. Yeah. I don't know. Also, like, I don't know. I don't know. I look at it and I'm like, kind of, so we'll get bored. Thing.
I
Like, for me, like, cause I went to school for firefighting, finished college, right? Um, and I've thought about firefighting a lot, and like, I think I'd make an amazing firefighter. I've been told that I'd make an amazing captain, but it's just like, how much of your life can you spend just doing the same thing? Go into the
yeah,
fire
because
hall and yeah, it's a
doesn't
different
running
person.
sorry
Okay, but
doesn't weightlifts for you feel different every time?
yes, it's
But already in 1 week of school, it all feels the
the
same.
same. You get
And I know it's the thing I love.
yeah,
So it's like obviously I look at it with like rose-colored glasses,
yeah, yeah. That's the
but
thing.
it always feels different.
It always feels different, and even the bad days are good. We're like in school, like
The
for
bad days are
firefighting, yeah, the
awful.
bad days are
They're
awful.
terrible.
They drag, and like you get this comfort into it, and it just like kind of meshes together. Like,
I know.
but like with weightlifting, there's you get like this comfort within it, but
You're always discomforted.
yeah,
Like the discomfort's the good part. You know what I mean? Because a better, well, for me, a better example is like sometimes, like I wake up and it's like whatever, 5:30 a.m. summer day, August. You put on the shorts, you get the stuff on, and you feel like crap, right? Like you feel terrible. But you tie up those shoes, you drink a little water and some salt, drink it, wait 10 minutes, use the bathroom, go like lock the door, go outside, and you just like leave. And it's like the first 500 meters is like, I don't want to do this. First kilometer, it's getting better. 2 kilometers in, feeling better. 5 kilometers in, okay, I this is like, let's get this run done, right? 10 kilometers in, you're like pushing, you're on your way home, it's the 12th kilometer or whatever, and you're like, you hit that. There's around my house, I run to this certain sign, and I'll always slap it when I'm done. And like when I slap it, I'm like, that was an amazing run. It doesn't matter like how bad it started.
Yeah.
Even if I'm giving her and I just feel like crap.
And wouldn't you say that your mood improves?
Amazing.
Like,
and it's not just because of the endorphins. It's like it's so accomplishable.
Yeah.
But policing is so it never ends. It's like people are always committing crime. And then because you're the sum of the people you hang around with, I feel like policing changes who you are. You know what I mean? But when I run, it's just me and God. You know what I mean? I know that God's there and in policing, but like he's there. He's there for the criminal as well. Right? And I don't mean that like you're fighting a criminal. He's not on the criminal side, I don't think, in that situation. Like that, not that sort. Just because they're criminals does not mean that God has turned his back on them. They have turned their back on God.
If anything,
he's trying to work through. He's trying to fix their life more. Jesus didn't come to save the saints. He came to save the sinners. And so just for me to be like, I'm on team, like for there to be teams between like good and evil. Yes, of course, good should win and evil should like crumble away. But I don't want for me to represent some sort of like we're good, they're bad. Of course, that's the basis of it. But there's so much more happening for that. Like they're sick, they need a doctor. Right? Like they need somebody to help them. And I just don't see in modern policing for there to be enough access for me to actually help those people. You put them in jail, right? They bond out. They're back on the street. They do it again. They bond out. They go back. It's a repeating door. There's people who are commit murder and they're out on bail, right? Like they're not actually like we're not doing anything. Like I feel like if it was like the 1970s, and obviously a lot of terrible things happened in the 1970s when it comes to police, like they were like beating people or what, like, and they still do. But I think that back then there was more like you're as a cop being able to do more, right? Like almost like community style policing.
That's good.
You know?
What was it? Oh, and also like with jobs like that, I don't know. Part of me, I guess, doesn't want to believe that God put us on this earth to like
do that,
go to a job, then like for whatever 8 to 12 hours, go home, and then you're just like tired and annoyed with life.
Okay, but who's gonna do those jobs?
I think the people that really love it.
Oh, whoa!
You know what I mean?
So like you're saying that like some people. Okay, I get what I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I absolutely get what you mean.
But on this earth too.
But it doesn't mean that they're less than. It actually means like that they just like some people love like being a cop. Some people love being a firefighter. But then some people are in between, and they're the ones that pull the whole thing down.
Yeah.
Because I'm in between. I don't want to pull the place down.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll love policing.
And not to say the people in between will be like the bad cops, right? Because like you could be in between, but
and
still
do amazing job.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
But at the end of the day, how long can you hold that facade for until you're like
2 weeks,
just done with what you're doing,
2
right?
weeks,
And
a
then
month.
that's when you kind of start pulling the place down because you don't want to
Be there.
be there anymore, right?
And I think that though, like, I would always, even right now, I'm working a regular job. Obviously, I'm working at a gym. Like, I feel like I do a good job. I do all the stuff clean. I do the whatever, right? But could I do that for the rest of my life? No. And it doesn't mean that I'll do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But this I love more than that. And I certainly would love. Actually, that's not even true. I love this.
Yeah.
Because this is more in line with what I believe.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I don't know. There are people that are literally born and you go through your child age, you're like, oh, I really want to be a firefighter.
Mm-hmm.
Like a
I
lot
never
of
had
people
that.
in my program, firefighting, were like, oh yeah, this is what I wanted since I was young. Like I've been working towards this, like everything. This was my vision since I was young. That was never
Did
my
you have a
vision.
dream of what you wanted? Did you have a dream of what you want to be when you're young?
This
the
right here,
YouTuber.
social media.
I don't
influencer
know if I had
was
anything like
my
that.
dream.
Like I did. Like I used to watch a lot of YouTube, and I would say to myself, "Oh, I want to do this."
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what I wanted to be when I was a kid. I don't think that I know I wanted to be athletic.
Yeah.
I always wanted, and this Angelo might know, like when I was like in elementary school, I really wanted to be one of the athletic kids.
Mm.
But if I had been, I would have turned out to be crazy. Like to have if I played AAA hockey, I'd literally be a meth addict.
Mm.
Like I know that's a big jump, but I mean like
Yeah.
like growing up with that sort of attention. Oh, he plays AAA. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like if I had that, the moment that AAA hockey came out of my life, I would have just fallen down. But I think that God made me wait because now I'm using my athleticism for good. Tell people like little tricks, how do you run? Just like not inspiring people, but helping people be inspired is like that's it. I wish I knew it. Like I should have a better memory of my childhood because I don't think I ever had anything like I want to do this, but I knew I wanted to be athletic.
Yep.
I wanted to help people. I knew I like the moment people started influencing me, I knew I was like, oh, I want to be a lawyer, which honestly I'd be the worst lawyer possible. I wouldn't even show up. I wouldn't even show up to court. I just be like, you guys win.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
or an engineer, but I don't even know how to do math. So,
yeah. But I feel like those are the jobs that everyone like when you're growing up, like become a doctor, become an engineer, become a lawyer. For me, I had those voices in my head that I was always like, I just want to kind of influence people and
help people.
lead a better
I feel
life.
like influence is like it's a good word. There's like a better word. Like I don't like motivate. I don't like inspire.
I think it's like for me, I think it's lead.
Lead
by example.
I think I would agree.
You know.
So I would say, like the idea of like a type A personality, like being like confident and leading. I think that I always told myself I didn't have one.
Yeah.
Like oh, me? No, I'll just like sit and I'm the class clown. Like leave me alone, right? I don't want to lead people. Now, I feel like I'm ready to lead, and I don't mean like lead them like I don't mean as in like shepherding people, in the same way Jesus did, right? Like I don't think I want to like I don't want that. I don't want to like teach people. I want to lead people to what I know is right, right? Like what I know will lead them to a good life, and help people and be. People aren't confident in what they have to say. Lead people to be confident. Lead people to be loving. Lead people to be graceful. And if that means like literally like leading people as my job, and I think that's kind of what YouTube is I don't like the idea of like having fans, but having like friends on the internet.
Friends,
you know, and being like, we don't know each other, and we're on this screen, and I'm talking to here through there, and me and Angela are sitting here and here, but you're involved in my life, and I hope that in some way I'm being involved in yours. And I don't wanna know what you guys do, for like your arguments or what, like anything personal. Actually, that's not true. That's not true. I don't want to be over involved in people's lives because that's where I think that like you can do like you could almost like mess something up.
Yeah.
But like be your friend, like have a friendship relationship with people. And whether that's like through the camera or in real life, to help people and give people some like guidance. Right? Obviously we're not old. We're not like super mature, like whatever. That sort of thing. Actually, no, I am mature. But what I meant is like we're not like we're not the wisest people. We're only 22 years of age. We have a lot more wisdom to gain. But we are mature for our age, I think.
I would say that we have enough wisdom
To help people. Yes, I agree.
Because we've been through the negatives and we've seen
a lot of
a
negatives.
lot of it, and we've also flipped our lives to the positives so that we can focus on the positive. And I think
Absolutely.
right now that is.
But I also think that like I've been through a lot of negatives, but I also like know what positive like there's so much benefit to negative experiences, right? Like you go through all this terrible stuff, and then it helps you appreciate the positives. And I think that like when people like ask about like the question of evil and like why does evil happen? Because if you've never had a bad experience in your life, good would just be neutral. Like you wouldn't know what anything meant. You wouldn't know how to feel. And then I would want to go back to what I said was that when it comes to maturity, I feel like the only reason I'm mature for my age is because of the negatives. And that I hope to gain wisdom by experiencing things in my life. Right? Like the ultimate form of wisdom is like to be able to ask for wisdom. Like you have to be able to like appreciate what God's putting in your life, right? To get wisdom, or else you're just like constantly neutral, flat, boring. Yeah. I think we'll end it there.
Thank you for listening and for watching.
Yes.
Again, we would like to hear your thoughts on just kind of the whole entire episode, or visuals of it, just any ideas that you might have to make it better and more enjoyable for you guys.
What I was gonna say is, even if you're like watching and you're like, this sucks,
yeah,
please tell us and be like, tell us like what would make it better, because when we watch it, obviously we're being like hypercritical, but then all the criticality that we have, it's very hard to like make it change because this is us.
Yeah.
And so we need somebody to be like, okay, it's dim, it's too close, it's too far, it's too loud, it's anything like that, or it's boring. Tell us what would make it more interesting. Because I think that this is going to be a long running thing. God willing.
God willing, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let us know, like anything. And even if you want to like comment down below and just kind of say, like, because we want to be your friends, right? So just like say anything, even like if you want to like tell us what's going on in your life, or
yes,
just something.
And I want to clarify, like when we say friend, like we mean friend, because me and Angela are best friends, and we know how important it is to have a best friend or just a friend in your life.
Yeah.
We want to help people, and that goes for people who are struggling, not struggling, whatever. If you just like want to talk to somebody, and obviously right now it's easy for us to respond to every comment and like actually get involved and like but I do want that to be a running theme with us, is that we have a way of like connecting people, and if you like need a friend, we're there.
Yeah. So yeah, comment down below, and if it's a question or something that we might be able to answer in the next podcast, or even a topic that you'd like us
Yes.
to discuss, something like that would be amazing.
And if it's controversial, me and Angela have no problem talking about
Yeah.
controversial things. Obviously, if you like ask like a really deep question, we might need time to like talk about it
Amongst ourselves.
like amongst ourselves, and then like kind of have the debate here.
But yeah, at the end of the day, we're just some guys being ourselves.
Yes.
And
we hope that you guys are yourselves as well.
exactly. Yeah. So thank you for listening and or watching.
Have a great day.
See you next time.
All right, bye-bye.